Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Ralph and welcome back to London Zoo 1904, my recreation of London Zoo as it stood in the year 1904. So we've just come through the main entrance there and we're going to turn left and stroll along the terrace walk. So this was the fashionable route through the zoo, the place to see and be seen and wear your Sunday best and show off. So the terrace walk is part of the original landscaping of the zoo when it first opened in 1827. So this walk led to, again, one of the original features of the zoo, which is the bear pit. So that's where we'll be heading to first. So the bear pit is a very old-fashioned way of keeping animals. Even in the year 1904, this was outdated, and it's sort of openly disparaged in the official guide. So the way it works is we'll stop at this little kiosk, we'll buy ourselves a stale bun that was baked yesterday, and we will pop our bun on the end of a stick, perhaps our walking stick that we've been promenading with, and then we'll hold that stick out over the pit, see if we can tempt our bear to come up, climb this pole, and take that bun off us. Now, our bear is not particularly interested in climbing our pole today, climbing in Planet Zoo being what it is. So we're going to justify to ourselves that we're visiting the zoo on a Tuesday, because Monday was half-price day at the zoo, and that means that this bear would have got a lot of extra food yesterday, so it doesn't have the motivation to come up and climb this pole. That's what we're going to tell ourselves anyway. So the bear pit and the original terrace walk were part of the original features of the zoo, but that was extended in 1843 to form this continuation of the terrace. And this was the dens for all sorts of carnivores, really. So this extension of the walk gives you a lovely, clear view over a lot of the rest of the zoo. A nice bit of peace from the hustle and bustle. You would have been able to see the elephants. When the elephant rides were going, they would walk along this path in front of the terrace, so you would have got a good view from here. I assume you'd have to look both ways to make sure you're not run over. So then, as I say, these were the dens for all sorts of large carnivores. So when they first opened, it would have been bears, big cats, hyenas, wolves, wild dogs, all that sort of thing. By 1904, a lot of those animals had their own specific accommodation. We toured the lion house last time, for example. So it was just the bears and hyenas here. So there were 6 of these large, exterior dens, and each of those had 2 interior dens as well. So those 2 interior dens for each of the cages, they would link together to form a corridor going down the middle of the entire structure. So at the end we've got a little peek into the bear pit at ground level here. Now we've got a little hat in the bear pit, and that is a reference to the fact that in 1867 a man dropped his hat into the bear pit and very unwisely decided to climb down to retrieve it, because you can't be seen in public without a hat on. That's scandalous. So he climbed down into the pit. He was immediately seized upon by 3 bears. So yes, it looks a bit cramped with 1 bear in there. Imagine 3 bears. Luckily the keepers were on hand, so they got him out before the bears gave him any serious injuries. But yes, having a hat, serious business back in the day. This is an attempt, a little coin-operated postcard dispenser. Might redo that at some point with a custom billboard or something. Nice little pergola. Have a little sit down, watch the animals. So I'm not really sure how it was divided in 1904. I've done largely hyenas on one side, largely bears on the other. Though we do have a lot of sun bears over here, because sun bears were a bafflingly popular pet. A lot of people got pet sun bear cubs and then realised that when they grow up, they're still bears. So a lot of sun bears ended up at London Zoo. Now here at the end we have got our polar bear cage and bath. This was built the year after the rest of the Carnivore Terrace, so 1844. It didn't originally have all of this metalwork over the top of the cage. That was added in 1851 after one of the bears climbed out and escaped, which was pretty good evidence that just having the bars curved inwards wasn't quite enough security. So again, this den at the back is a little bit of guesswork. Got these two arched doorways, and it seems that the doorway actually in the bear's cage was controlled by a little chain that could be hooked up there. That's my interpretation of it anyway. And then next to it, a continuation of the polar bear's cage. We've got this little arch which led to the camel house, which is one of these structures that still survives, although rebuilt many times, bit of a ship of Theseus situation there. So the Carnivore Terrace, part of it was demolished in 1919, so it was only half as big from then on, and the cages were extended into two much larger bear cages on either side. And then the whole thing was demolished in the early 70s to make way for the Sobel pavilions, so that's where where Gorilla Kingdom is these days. So really it stuck around for quite a long time, although it did change a lot in the intervening time. So there we are. That's the Carnivore Terrace, the bear pit and the polar bears. As always, if you've got any questions, anything you liked, anything you didn't like, let me know down in the comments and I will get back to you. But for now, let's leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully the next one will be along a little bit sooner than this one was. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.